It is at the top of the hour. Super excited to see everybody here. And I have a special guest who, god dang, dude, national, like top 1%. Like, you're so, like, when I talk to you, you're so calm and cool. Like, is it just I don't know. I'm excited to dig into this and kind of like peel back the curtain and the onion or whatever you want to call it.
I'm an
So,
open book. Let's do it.
yeah, let's do it. So Allison, and I almost called you Allie. Allison Larson is on with us today. And Allison, you want to talk about, well, probably one of the coolest topics, and you had a lot of excitement when you wanted to talk about it. So I'll let you introduce yourself, and then we'll jump into it.
Cool. I'm Allison Larson. I am up in Minnesota in the Twin Cities here. I am a mom. I've got two bonus kids and two little ones at home. My toddler is 19 months and I have a 7-month-old baby. Um, in this business, when I first got started, I looked to a lot of different coaching programs and different platforms, and I saw a lot of people burning themselves out, overworking, things like that. And at one point, I kind of said, I don't actually even think I want that if it's going to mean I have to work 12-hour days and be miserable all the time. And didn't even try for it. And then at one point, I was like, you know what? Screw that. I'm actually just going to do it my own way, and I'm going to work 40 hours a week, and I'm going to show up as a mom and a good wife and still be at home at dinner time and not be crabby. And that's what I'm trying to do.
Awesome. So, and you're doing it very well, by the way. I heard nothing but amazing things about you from a lot of different people. So,
Thank you.
again, thank you for your time. You're taking 30 minutes out of your 40-hour week to be with us, and that's very appreciative. So, thank you so much. Your hot topic and what you're so instrumental at is getting realtor relationships and what to say in those relationships.
Yeah. If you guys, well, people are listening, if you're listening and you have something specific that you struggle on, whether it's booking an appointment, finding qualified realtors, what to say when you meet with the realtor, or what you say when you leave the realtor to actually get them to send you business, feel free to put into the chat. Otherwise, I'll just kind of go with it and share some of my things. But I feel like people always struggle with different parts of it. And oftentimes we talk about one part of it, like the scripting of what to say when you cold call. And then we run into obstacles like, hey, when I cold call people, no one actually answers the phone anymore. So thanks for all the coaching I paid for telling me what to say when I call, but no one answers the phone. So it's not really working, right? It's hard sometimes to learn from people if they're not really in the business doing it every single day, actually meeting with new realtors, trying to build their business from the ground up. So let's start with my favorite ways on the front end of an appointment, like before a meeting to get an appointment. We all have friends, I hope. Um, the easiest thing I think to do is call a friend and say, hey, if you were going to sell your home tomorrow, who would you sell it with? They'll
Mm.
give you a name. And when they give you that name, don't ask for an introduction because they'll take 3 weeks to send it and then they'll muddy it down when they do it. Immediately get off the phone and call or text that person and say, hey, Scott just gave your name. Does that hurt me or does it help me? Oh, it helps. It helps you. Well, awesome. Hey, I called them and I asked if you were going to sell your home tomorrow, who would you sell it with? He said it was you. I was impressed. I'd love to learn more about your business. Can we have coffee next Tuesday at 9? You could say that in a text. You could say it on an Instagram DM. You could say it on a voice note, or you can call them and see if they pick up the phone. Oftentimes I'll get a voicemail. I'll say that in the voicemail and then I'll follow up with a text. The reality is that agent needs business just like you need business. And if they think that client might sell their home tomorrow, they're like, well, I better do what they better do what they say. I'm going to go meet with this lender. I don't want to piss them off if they're going to sell their $1 million home next week. Right.
Good point.
And so
Yeah.
sticking in with that. And then at the meeting, I think most of us know how to run a coffee meeting. Most of us are in this business because know to be a normal human and get conversation, all of that.
Yeah.
And some of us are bold enough to ask for business at the end of the meeting. Some of us fall a little short on it. But the reality is, even if you fall totally short and you don't ask for the business, if you stay in flow with someone after the meeting, you probably can get business from them, right?
Yeah.
For years, I had like I don't know, I read somewhere, I think you have to follow up with someone 11 times before they'll send you something. Now I think it's like 27 times or
Oh, wow.
something because people are
That's a
so
new number.
bombarded all this crazy stuff. And the reality is a lot of our realtors, they don't have deals every single week to send you.
Mm.
And so calling them every single Monday and saying, did you work or did you play? what are your dreams? Like, that's kind of weird, right? Like, and
Mhm.
so they don't answer 2 weeks in a row. We get insecure. We stop calling. They feel insecure. They don't want to answer our questions because now they feel, weird that they don't want to keep calling, answering our phone calls because they feel weird that they don't have anything to send us back. Um, and so at the end of it, we go, okay, I'll just stop contacting them. So instead of doing follow up, now we are in flow with them.
Mm.
Number one easiest way to stay in flow with them is when you're at your coffee meeting. If you're not a person who can sit across the table and hard close them, really, really easy. Just say, hey, this has been really good. I'd love to spend 10, 15 minutes on a quick Zoom meeting and show you how my team works and what your clients could expect. Do you have your calendar on your phone? Yeah, I do. Perfect. Could we just block 15 minutes next week to hop on a Zoom? As soon as I'm back to the office, I'll send you the calendar invite. And then I can just show you exactly what you can expect from my team. The magic is on this meeting, we're going to show them what they can expect from our team, but also we're going to show them how they can refer us.
Mm.
The hardest thing about breaking a connection with someone is it's so easy to refer them. In Minnesota, a lot of times I'll refer out for HELOCs, bridge loans, construction loans, things like that. And I'll just do the takeout side, it's just easier. And small bank people call me all the time. To be honest, I send the same two names. Same thing with my insurance agent. I send the same two names. Why? Because my team already has email templates built with the same names. So
Okay.
I haven't had time to remind them, like, I don't even know if I like them anymore. We should send it to so I just haven't, right? It's not like I don't like the new person I met. I don't think they're amazing, would do great work for my client. They just haven't made it easy enough for me. And so if they said, hey, I'm going to send you the email template, how do you refer your people? Oh, I send them an email template. Shannon on my team does it. If I send a new template with my name on it and all they have to do is copy and paste it, would that help you? Yeah. Yeah. I'll forward it on. Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. Right. And so getting them on that Zoom and then handing them on a silver platter how they can tee you up and refer you
Mm.
without being a weirdo and like feeling like you're shoving it down their throat, I think is really important.
So backing up a little bit, when you said you call and you ask, hey, if you were to sell your home, who would it be? Is that your past database, or is that like where do you get these people? Like, who is this? Who
I
you
would call friends.
you call?
I haven't,
Okay, okay,
I'm young. I'm 34 years old. I
okay,
haven't been in the business 20 years. The people who are in a home, a bulk of my business happened in the last 5 years. Their realtor, I still work with them. I can't
okay.
call my database and ask them. That wouldn't really work. So I'd call a
Got it.
friend. I'd call, a parent you meet at your kid's school, someone you met through your husband's work, whatever.
Okay, and so if you did have a database, it'd be the same thing.
Yeah.
It'd be even easier because now you have a whole list of people that you've worked with that know, like, can trust you. That'd
Yeah.
be an easy call.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and if they even if they here's the funny part, even if they did work with an agent, they probably won't remember the name, but maybe they've built the relationship, right?
Well, and I think honestly, I think sometimes loan officers get intimidated by even calling their database. They feel like maybe I didn't serve them as well as I should. Maybe I haven't followed up with them in a long time. Oh my gosh, is this the right number? Are they going to think it's weird? We overthink it. No one overthinks calling their friend and asking them a simple question.
Hmm. Too easy. All right. Do you use like you're younger, so like do you use social media to do any outreach to real estate agents or
Yeah.
like, do you
So
use
I
all those
live and
ways?
breathe on Instagram. I don't do as much on Facebook. That's just,
Okay.
to me, I think you should spend time on whatever platform is natural to you. So if you naturally hang out on LinkedIn, go use LinkedIn to get business. If for me, if it's TikTok, use TikTok. For me, it's Instagram. That's where all my friends are. That's where my past clients are. That's where my agents are. And so I'm constantly, one of my ways I'm staying in flow after the meeting, instead of doing all the phone calls with awkward small talk, I'm usually replying to their Instagram story
Mm.
and then following up on a phone call going, oh my gosh, I saw that baseball picture. That was so cool. Tell me about how it was. Is your son sad to be graduating or is he excited for middle school or what is, and actually build a personal relationship with them that way.
So you humanize it is what you're saying.
Yes.
Awesome. I love it.
I think so many people's social media looks like a Costco calling card. Like, we're
Yes.
not buying tires. People do business with other people.
Mm.
And so if you're not showing up as a person on your social media, you're kind of wasting your time.
Excellent. Going back to the one thing I heard about, and I wanted to clarify who you were asking, but if you do have a database, like that's such an easy question, and you're calling friends, and if you don't want to call your database because you're scared, like Allison said, just call your friends. and
Call your
ask them,
friends.
like,
And I
yeah.
do think you should call your database. For me, I like to call I I don't like the forward scripting conversations of like, how's your family? How's work? What's your dreams? Are you planning a vacation? It feels really weird to me. And if someone I haven't talked to in a year called me, who I never really met in person and only on Zoom, and striked up this weird conversation, I'd be like, what was that? Like, it just would throw me off. And I'm busy. I don't really have time for it. If I'm going to call my past clients, I want it to be for an annual review or to invite them to something. So I call every single person on the month they closed on their home, offering value, touching base. Do you need a HELOC? Your mortgage interest rate still in good shape? All that good stuff. Any goals or priorities I should know about? Nope. Okay, then you're good. On with the next. I will not waste your time. And then we do a client event every single fall. And the 30 days leading up to it, I call every past client. It is my number one thing. And it's great because it's around Labor Day weekend. People are out of town and getting kids back to school anyways. So it's hard to do realtor appointments. So all of my prospecting time is just touching base on every single past client.
So you're pretty full. Like, so a lot of people are scared to do what I think you just said you do. You're pretty forward from what you said. When you call your past database, you're like, hey, how can I put you in a better situation? Is there anything I can do?
Yeah. Or just straight up telling them good news, you're in a really good situation.
Okay.
Sometimes people are scared to call because there's nothing they can help with.
Yeah.
Hey, you did their mortgage and they're still in a good situation. That's good news.
Yeah.
Like, right? Like
Right.
I did you right. Like, congrats, you're still in that 3% mortgage I put you in, and you probably will be for a decade.
Yeah.
How's everything else? Good, great. Reminder. And if I have nothing else to talk about, I'll be like, reminder, I'm going to call you for a client appreciation event. We want to see your adorable kids there. I see them on Instagram. I want them there, all that kind of stuff.
Beautiful. Okay. The event, I love the event. One a year. It's in the fall. Is there a certain like month, year? Like, is it the same? Like,
Yep, we always do it one of the first Saturdays in September, kind of right after school starts. It's still warm
okay.
in Minnesota, so
Okay.
we do a photo day event. We've done it for 6 or 7 years now, and it is a really
Wow.
good photographer that comes in, and we get a big space with food and drinks, and you can bring your dog and bring your kids, and there's a coloring thing, and people just kind of get in line as the things flow and do a quick family photo, and then they get a gallery of their images a few weeks afterwards.
Is it a special place, like a bounce land, or like where do you have it?
No.
Just
We just rotate kind of honestly, whatever's cheapest.
like,
Normally, I mean, for a long time, I didn't have a large budget to do things like this. And
right.
so for many years, it was just me hacking it together. So I would try and find a space that lets you bring in your own food and drinks. And the night before, I'd run to Costco and then I'd replate things on my own dishes. So it felt nice, like it was catered. But really, it only had costed me $300. And a lot of times I'd find a photographer who was new in the business who wanted to pick up clients, because if they take a picture of you here and they just bought a house, well, maybe they're going to get married or whatever. The budget for the event now is larger. It's now we use the same photographer. She charges me like $1,500 a venue. I don't go to Costco now and like replate the wraps and make my own charcuterie. Now I just have it catered. So usually that's about $1,000. And then we just do drink tickets. So usually one drink. And
excellent.
so it's not an overly expensive event.
I love it. All right. So a couple questions. Craig, thanks for being here, my friend. Getting them to send business after the meeting. One is, do they have the business to send you? That would be my first question. Two is, what would you, the process of making it easy is what I heard you say.
So let's start about making sure we have a qualified agent. When I'm starting to book my appointments, I try and keep things booked weeks in advance. And I go for big first and I get them on the calendar. And then when I'm going into the week of, and for me, a qualified realtor is someone who had 6 or more buy-side transactions and has been in the business for longer than 3 years. I found if they're fresh feet on the ground with a license, they don't necessarily see the value of a lender or understand how the partnership would work. And right now, I don't really have time to teach them how the whole world works. So what I like is when they get burned by another lender and then they're like, she's the real deal. This is what I need. This is what I need to help me elevate and to teach me and all of that. And then when I don't have enough realtor appointments because someone canceled or whatever, then I can start going through the low hanging fruit who maybe is greener in the business, has less transactions. They're someone I've been messaging on Instagram, and then I'll go, hey, I have got time tomorrow. Would you want to grab coffee? And just make it easy to get my face-to-faces in. So I know the people I'm keeping in touch with are qualified agents. So then at the meeting, I set the next step for the Zoom meeting. And then on the Zoom meeting, I'm going to show them like a couple snippets of what I do in my pre-approval Zoom. It
Mm,
is really, really key that you are doing a face-to-face, I believe, with your clients. And then when you're doing that when you're talking to your realtor on that Zoom, maybe mention, hey, does your current lender, do they do anything like this? I promise you they do not. And so when they realize they feel silly that they've been sending business to someone who does not, the other person they're gone, right? They're gonna be like, I'm not even doing my clients a good service if I'm not sending them to Allison or Eric or whoever it is, right?
mhm.
Um, and then on that, I'm going to say, hey, I have this email template. I'm going to share screens. This is perfect. If you send us a lead with this, someone on my team is going to grab it within 10 minutes and start working on the lead. That way we can have someone pre-approved out the door in 48 hours for them to go buy a house. A lead is only hot until it's cold. And I want to keep people excited when you send them to us. And I'm like,
Beautiful.
okay, great. And then if you're not tracking your numbers, you absolutely have to track your numbers. That's where it all starts. I know that if someone has a pre-approval meeting with me on Zoom or Teams, there is a 46% chance their loan funds with us in the next 6 months.
Wow. 46%. That's huge. So you know your
If
numbers. Yeah.
you look at industry averages of credit pull to closing, it's less than 11%.
Wow. Okay.
If you share that with a realtor, they would like a 46% chance to get paid instead of an 11% chance to get paid.
Yeah. What do you do any third party edification to the agents? Because do you talk about that with your agents when you're there? Like, hey, I can talk, I can say things about you that you can't say about yourself. Like, is there any of that?
Yeah.
That little bit? Not
Um, to me, yeah, that's good to say. I honestly don't. I don't
okay.
ever think of it. I think
Okay.
I try and really think a lot of in this world where you can catch me on a podcast and you can catch me on, you can catch Dave Savage's YouTube stuff. We all have heard the same thing. So a lot of our agents have already heard like the sales pitch that we're going to edify them.
Okay.
And I don't even think it resonates with them how big of a deal it is sometimes.
Yeah.
So if
Okay.
I think it will land with the agent, I bring it up. If not, I feel like most agents think they're pretty hot to trot. Like they don't really need me to edify them.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. I love the transparency and honesty, my friend.
Yeah.
Kathleen, thanks for being here, my friend. How many loan partners do you have on your team?
Yeah. So until a year ago, it was myself and one loan partner. So we built that all the way to about 58, 60 million. And then I switched companies and now I'm an area manager with Guild Mortgage. So now I have other loan officers. So we run a little
Oh,
bit, now we have more staff. So now I have two loan partners that support my personal production. I have a part-time marketing person that helps with the branches stuff. And then I have a processor that helps on my files and two other people in the branch. So we don't have a big staff.
I love you lean and mean.
And I was, at one point, I think when I was in a previous coaching program where they encouraged you like go on vacation 1 week a month and work very minimal hours and delegate to everyone. I think I had like 6 people on my team. And I felt like all I did all day was put out a fire, apologize to someone, go to the next thing. You can get a loan done with less people if you're leaning into your tech stack and you're being really, really efficient with your time. And honestly, just doing a really solid pre-approval meeting. Most clients, I only have to talk to them on that pre-approval meeting and they're like, yeah, I got it. I'm good.
Amazing. I love it. Piper, how do you reignite a realtor relationship? Nothing went wrong with the deal. You just stopped calling because fire got in the way, maybe, or you can just see like you. So is there? I mean, obviously, if you have detailed what you do
Yeah.
on a daily basis.
So with realtors where you just lost, first of all, I would encourage every single person to use RETR and go. I just assigned this to I'm a Go coach, and I just assigned this to all of my students the other week that they had to get RETR. That was one of my assignments. Step one. Step two was they had to go through all of their agents that they partner with, whether they closed a deal from them or not. If they're on your list that you try and call and prospect, they had to go through it. And they had to take how many buy side transactions they closed and then divide it by 2. The market is tough. You're not going to pick up 100% of anyone's buy sides.
Mm,
Those numbers are going to be really eye opening. You're going to have some people who you stopped paying attention to at some point who do way more business than you thought.
yeah.
And the first thing you're going to do is you're going to call them and you're just going to ask them to coffee. It doesn't have to be this big, like, let me have a what happened? Why did we stop work? Who cares? Like, I don't know. Maybe they got busy. Maybe some other sparkly loan officer came in and stole the business and they just have to see you again and remember that they like you. Like, just go and see them and have a face to face and see where it goes. And either you'll realize you're both in different places in life and it's not the right fit, square peg round hole, or you'll be like, this is great. I'm so glad we reconnected. Let's do some deals.
So life handed somebody life that handed more life. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, think of there's people I referred when I was single and not married and in a different phase of life, and I lived on a different side of town, and they would take me to happy hours and I'd see them at events and I was in flow with them. Now I'm married, I have little kids, I'm busy. They fell off my radar. I don't dislike them. If they called me and said, let's reconnect, I'd be like, oh my gosh, yeah. If they haven't called me to reconnect, I assume like maybe I wasn't the right fit for them either.
Mm. Let's see. I love this question. So Eloy's asking, thanks for being here. So if you have 800 past clients, are you inviting them all to the event? Do you ask for RSVPs? How do you
Yeah.
count how many
So
will be there?
we use just Eventbrite, or we've
Okay.
used Blackbird RSVP or whatever.
Okay.
And yeah, I just have people RSVP, like 30% won't show up. Um, someone's kid will be sick, a soccer game, it rains, the wind blows the wrong way, and someone's like, nah, I don't, whatever. Someone's hungover, they don't want family photos today, right? It's whatever. So I invite everybody every single year. I'm panicked that we're not, oh my gosh, is the photographer gonna have enough time? Is it gonna work? It always works. We don't do time slots because the
Okay.
photographer sometimes with some groups gets through really, really fast. And so then it would be a waste of time. Other groups take a little bit longer. When I see, and we just keep people moving. So when I see someone finishing up and there's not a line, I'm like, go get your picture taken. Hey, your kid looks happy right now and doesn't have chocolate on them. You're up, right? And we do it for a 3-hour time stretch.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Alice, Kai said you dropped some fire at the Growth Con panel. So I heard that was pretty awesome. Mike was on Monday. So he's like, yeah, he's like, dude, he mentioned your name. So, well, you guys are going to get some stuff. So
Oh, good, good,
yeah,
good, good.
yeah,
GrowthCon was awesome. If you guys aren't following Amir and Justin and what they're doing, Andy Zeman was on here earlier. He's a coach with me at Go as well. And we've been friends for a long time. And I texted him after and I said, I'm really, really proud to be part of this organization, what they're building. It's awesome.
it sounds amazing. And Justin's been on a couple times now. So
Yeah.
awesome, dude. You do Zoom. So Mike is asking, you do Zoom calls with all your leads.
Yes, anyone who's pre-approved. So I
Okay.
don't get on with them unless they're fully pre-approved and ready to
Oh,
purchase.
okay.
If they don't qualify, then it's just going to be a phone call to say, hey, we got to work on credit or whatever. Or if they don't fit in, like if they're a surgeon and they've got weird hours, I'll just create a bomb video and send them a recording of me going through the numbers, and that works too. But
Yeah.
we take the loan application and we get things going, I just say, or someone on my team just says, perfect. Allison wants to hop on a Zoom or a Teams call so that she can share her screen to review your options. Which do you prefer, Zoom or Teams?
Love it.
Sometimes
Love
it's
it.
weird.
Love it.
People
So
won't
you
get
do
on
both.
camera
Okay.
and just
Okay. Yeah. They
there,
don't get on the
but
camera. Yeah. We were talking about that in the green room before. Yolanda, how you doing? I am planning an in-person mixer for realtors. So probably a smaller event, not a customer appreciation. Is that, do you ever do any of those or have any thoughts
yeah,
on that?
yeah, we have my higher up at Guild, Shayla Gifford's coming to town tomorrow to speak for a bunch of realtors. We've got 60 plus realtors RSVP'd for a 2-hour workshop. I think events are the easiest way to stay in flow with your agents. Some I plan big events, some I plan smaller events. I'm very strategic about who I invite. If they're a very big agent and I don't think this event is going to change their life, that's probably not who I'm inviting to the event if it's a smaller event.
Yeah.
I love, especially for my onesie twosie agents, that's how I stay in front of them, is events.
Okay.
Is see 10 of them at one time versus taking each of them to lunch and draining my battery and not being able to get ahead on anything. I really only see my agents I work with a couple times a year.
And Andrew's still here, by the way. What's up, Andrew? Hey, so one to many. So I think and I can't be the only one thinking this, and I know the answer, but they're not agents from one office. They're agents from all different offices.
Yes. Yep.
And they're okay with it.
Yeah. Agents love to be friends. All of my
Yeah.
agents are friends.
Yeah.
They all know each other from Instagram. They're all DMing. In this world, they're all tagging each other. They're all friends. They love reasons to come together, especially the agent who's perfect to come to an event is this like mid, like 25 to like 43-year-old agent who's kind of the lone ranger or is on a small team, and they get exposure to the people in their office. But you guys, big producers aren't showing up to the office and teaching them things.
Hmm.
And they all know that their broker team lead isn't selling anymore. So they're not getting it there. So they want to have buddies in this business to be their cheering support, to be their rah-rah. I have an agent who calls it their class. Like, you graduate high school with your class.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like, you have got
Awesome.
older school agents. They're all friends. They've been in the business 20 years ago. They're from the same class.
Hmm.
This class of agents, that's my age, they should know each other and be friends. We're going to be in this together for 20 years.
So do I got to change my age on my Facebook to get invited if I move to Minnesota? Is that what you're saying?
So we invite everyone. Those are just the people who show up. And I still market it to people who I know would never come to this.
Okay.
Because it's a way to stay in front of their inbox. It's a way to show up in their DMs. It's a way to just reach out to them.
Yeah.
I'm just not pushing it. If it's an agent where I'm like, this is what you need in your business, you've got to show up. You're going to love what I have to say, blah, 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 blah. This is how it's going to help you. I'm going to make a big deal about them coming.
And you do that once a quarter, you said?
We did another event 2 weeks ago. So
Okay.
it's not as
Okay.
like, it's just kind of what the vibe
whenever.
is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Scotty Campbell, what's up, buddy? Hey, what are your top 3 questions to ask an agent, either new or refresher meeting?
Yes. So when I'm in a coffee appointment, my top questions I love to ask, actually, it's very easy. So when you get to the coffee meeting, I make small talk in the coffee line about personal stuff. And then when I sit down, I try and cap the small talk and get it into business chat. Sometimes it's harder, but as long as you ask this one question, it's really easy to pivot. So who do you currently use for a lender? And zip it.
You come out of the gates?
Well, I mean, they've warmed up, they've talked, whatever,
Okay,
but
okay.
like they'll start talking about their stuff, and then
Yeah.
it's really easy to be like, who do you refer? So many of us don't ever even ask who they refer. And because of RETR, I already know who they refer. So I can hear, is the name they said matching up with who's closing their transactions, or are they not strong at referring? Have they never closed a loan with the same 2 people, right? There's all of these things that go into play with it. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, awesome. If I've heard of them, I'll say I've heard of them. If I haven't, I'm like, oh, I'm not familiar, what company, whatever. I'm like, okay, cool. What do you love about working with them?
Scotty, I seen you unmute yourself there.
So Allison, I didn't get to be at your panel at GrowthCon yet, or see it yet, because I didn't get to see it in person. But all I've heard is that you ask this very direct question, and that's what I was trying to
I don't
stoke
think
the
it's
fire
that
on.
direct. I think it's
No,
passive.
I don't either.
Yeah,
but everybody in our industry does. And
Yeah.
so I just wanted to hear you say that to really stoke the fire, guys, because like you heard what she said. You just asked the question. You already know the answer because you have RETR. So I think I heard something about how you'll only small talk them a little bit, like when you're getting to the table. You don't really do that at the table. When you sit down, it's business. Did I hear that correct?
So you guys, I'm a mom. If I have my kids with a nanny, which is not cheap, and my son's at preschool right now, I don't know why we pay for both, whatever. It makes me feel better about being a mom who works. It's not cheap. I have to go to work and get business. And if I'm going to work 40 hours a week, I don't have an hour and a half to make small talk with my friend at coffee. I barely get to see my friends. Okay. So if I'm sitting down for a business meeting, we are going to do business together. Like and if we're not going to do business together, my butt is out of there and back to the office. And I'm like, nice to meet you. Let's stay in touch. Next, I'm not going to pitch the Zoom. I'm not going to, if we're not, it's not there. It's not there, right? When you sit down with someone where you're like, they're my people. Let's do this.
Wow.
I love that. So like, guys, what if you only had the amount of time that Allison has? Like, what if you treated your career that way? I was just teaching a new mortgage advisor on our team this yesterday. He's young, he's single, he's out there mingling. And I'm like, dude, what if you only had 40 hours in a week? Like, how would you treat your meetings more intentionally? And it like unlocked the light bulb. So,
and honestly, I started doing it not when I only had 40 hours in a week to work. I started doing it because I was scared of like how I was going to pay my bills. Like I was like, I need business. So I need to learn how to run a business meeting. I was running all around town, dropping off donuts, asking about like what people's goals are, being everybody's friend, and everyone knew me and really liked me. And that wasn't enough.
Love it. Allison, unbelievable. We're at the bottom of the hour. So take us out the door here, my friend. What's something you want to share with the group, or how do they connect with you, interact with you?
Yeah.
If they want to talk about coaching with you, like,
Yeah, you
let's open the
can
door.
find me at Allison Larson Loans on Instagram, Allison Larson on Facebook. I have a YouTube page. Actually, I just put in my Instagram story, unrelated to this. I'm just piecing this together right now. That I just put in my story. I do a newsletter to loan officers all the time with like recorded content and things like that. If you want to be on it, you can just reply to my DM and I'll add you to the list. Otherwise, I'm a coach with Go Coaching. They have a couple different levels. If you're not ready for like one-on-one coaching or whatever, it's great. Check it out. They also do free master classes all the time. So I'd recommend checking one of those out too.
Awesome. All right. Hey, my friend. So nice to have you on this morning. I love the direct, like, let's just do business or move on. I love the direct questions. There's so many fires you dropped here. I love the party. I love the events. The how to get realtor relationships. You covered so many things. So thank you so much for being here and taking time out of your day. I appreciate you, my friend.
Thank you for having me on.
All
Bye,
right,
guys. Have a good day.
All right. Have an amazing day, everybody. Be safe tomorrow. Don't miss it. Same time, same place, right here on the RETR Morning Show. Have a good day, everybody. Take care.